Hello valued viewers, I hope you're all doing very well and welcome to what should be a really big and exciting war game. Today's viewer request is from Shamema1368. Hey Cap, I was wondering if you would mind recreating the attack on the Fujian while she was docked with the 2027 assets. I was thinking F-22s providing air cover with AIM-260, F-15EX F-18 with AIM-174 for additional air support, F-35C and B carrying MAKO missiles internally and fire them closer to the target, and F-18 with LRAM. He's talking about this one here, Wargame, wow, 76, all the way back in August 2022, where we attacked the, at the time, brand new Type 003 Fujian Chinese aircraft carrier in her Shanghai dock. We did it at the time with weapons that we had, relatively old weapons, and Shamema wants us to come and do it with the modern set of weapons, which is great. Before we go and look at the overview and what I've created, viewers, I need to respond to this request, and I'm going to have to change something. So what he's asking for is, as well as the Navy, which is presumably going to be the 7th Fleet in this theatre, he wants Air Force as well, F-15s and F-22s, presumably from Okinawa, which absolutely would be possible. It is within a combat radius of those jets from Okinawa, but I don't think I can add the Air Force and the Navy in on this attack for a couple of reasons. The first reason is I think US will just be overpowered with such a force, and I hate it when these battles are kind of scripted so that the goodies have to win. I prefer it when it's a much more difficult fight. So for that reason, I would like to leave USAF out. Maybe we'll do a separate battle with just the Air Force versus China. But even if I did want to include them, I can't really at the moment, viewers. I just won't have enough headroom on my PC to add that many extra assets. It will just crash every time. It's partially my fault. I desperately need a new PC, a new system, much more powerful one, and also as well as that, the game's got more complex and it just doesn't run quite as fast as it used to. So today we'll just use the Navy. Next he asks for Hornets with AIM-174. This is the new weapon we've been showing off a lot lately. It can be used in an air-to-air configuration with a kill range of kind of 200 to 300 miles. It's very impressive, but unfortunately, again, I have to refuse this. Reason being, I can't use this weapon when I've also got stealth aircraft within the wargame. Reason is, stuff you don't see in the background, viewers, is whenever I have a stealth aircraft involved in these wargames, I have to use a completely different set of radars for the aircraft to kind of model the stealth in the sim. When we use these long-range 300-mile missiles, I have to use a different radar set, so it's not compatible. I can't use the AIM-174 with stealth. It's one or the other. Don't worry though, viewers, I will be able to use it in its air-to-ground configuration, so we'll use it as an anti-ship weapon today. He asked for F-35Cs and Bs carrying air-to-ground MAKO missiles or anti-ship MAKO missiles to fire them closer. Technically, I could do that, but tactically-wise, I can't. Because I've not got the US Air Force for air cover, for the reasons I explained, I'm going to have to use F-35s for the air-to-air viewers, because this is 2027. Chinese Eastern Theatre Command is not going to send up its bad jets. It's going to send up its 5th-gen jets. As a minimum, we need 5th-gen jets to combat that. Sending the F-18s from the US 7th Fleet against Chinese 5th-gen, they're going to get absolutely slaughtered. So it'll have to be F-35s. So F-35s, for the foreseeable future, will be stuck doing air-to-air to clear a path for the anti-shippers, viewers. Finally, F-18s with LRAMs. Yep, that's fine. So this is what I've got, viewers. First, geography. As you know, I don't have this part of the world in my sim, so I've had to make it out of the south of Argentina here. If we imagine this is Shanghai, that's approximately the area of Shanghai there, and this is part of the Shanghai harbour where the carrier will be kept. 500 miles in this direction is the southwest tip of Japan at about 500 statute miles. So that's where Japan is. Okinawa is about down there. The American attack will obviously come from the 7th Fleet because this is the theatre we're in. The range is very important. I've set the range of the 7th Fleet 300 miles away from Shanghai Harbour, so about in the middle between Japan and China, slightly biased towards Japan. I've not just chosen that range out of my head. That's the range that works with all the fuel loads of the jets and the missile ranges and stuff like that. 300 miles really is what's needed. So for all this to work, we have to assume that China has allowed a US carrier group to get within 300 miles of the coast. I don't know if that's possible or not, but we will have to assume it is. That's it. So, overview. US 7th Fleet has, of course, one CV, Ronald Reagan, one LH, which is USS America. As well as that, it's going to have a Desron of 6 Arleigh Burke Flight 3s, the best destroyers they have. In terms of her air wings, there are 2 air wings, 1 large squadron aboard USS America F-35Bs in, I've said anti-ship role. I do apologise, viewers. Let me change that. I was going to have them as anti-shippers as the request with MAKOs. It just didn't pan out, viewers. I'm having to change them to fleet defence, and you'll see why shortly. The radar cross-section as best knowledge of 0.002 square metres, meaning they can be shot at about 17 or 18 miles. Then a large squadron of F-35s aboard Ronald Reagan in fleet defence role, same radar cross-section. Then we have 3 squadrons of anti-shippers, and this should be quite interesting. We haven't done this before. We're using all 3 2027 weapons, LRAM, AIM-174B and MAKO, in that order. Each squadron has 12 aircraft, so that's a total of 36 anti-shippers firing those various weapons. That should be really interesting, a really interesting test of which missiles are going to be most effective. Also 2 AWACS, total 8 ships and 76 aircraft. Chinese defense, Chinese Eastern Theater Command, the units that, in my view, could be ready at the drop of a hat, i.e. this attack is obviously not expected. How many units could possibly be ready to scramble in the next few minutes in Eastern Theatre? I've got 1 CV Type 003. Today she is not active. She is the target. The Americans are attacking her in Shanghai Harbour. Active are 2 DDGs, so that is the 2 Type 055s, her Praetorian Guard. Also, we'll have 9 auxiliary ships just playing, random other ships in the harbour. In terms of defence, I've tuned this as best I can to make it as effective as I can, and I'll explain that in the detail section. 4 HIMAD, that's HQ-22 with 80 long-range missiles. Also 2 SHORAD, HQ-17A with 32 missiles. There are 2 air wings consisting 4 squadrons, 2 squadrons of J-20, their frontline stealth fighter, air-to-air configuration, and being in such a hurry as ever, viewers, I forgot to put the radar cross-section in, so I'll do that now. They are, as usual, set up at 0.05 square meters. So that's a very small number, but it's much bigger than the American number. What it means is that they can only be shot at by an AESA radar at about 27 miles. So F-35 can be shot at about 17, 18 miles. J-20 can be shot at about 10 miles more, which we think is probably about realistic. As well as that, they will have 4th gen, they'll have 2 squadrons of J-16, very similar to the J-15, again, obviously in air-to-air role. I thought about putting some anti-shipping on the Chinese side, but bearing in mind that they're not expecting this attack and they're really just interested in defending, I figured I would leave Chinese anti-shipping out. They probably wouldn't have that ready at a drop of a hat. 2 AWACSs, AEW KJ-2000 type. Total 12 ships, 2 of which are active, 6 SAMs and 66 aircraft. Right, let's go into the details, viewers. I put a lot of work into this. There's been you won't believe how much trouble I've had in getting this working. Let's start with Shanghai Harbour, shall we? The target today is the Fujian, the 3rd Chinese carrier. They may even have a 4th in 2027, I don't know. It's played by a nominal carrier today. As well as that, there are several auxiliary ships here, just, because it's a harbour, there would be auxiliary ships in. In terms of short-range defence, we've got these 2. HQ-17A, each has 16 short-range missiles. Range rings, you can see here, about 10 miles. The next layer is going to be probably the ships. We have 2 active Type 055 set to maximum skill level, so these will be the absolute cream protecting this carrier at all times. 2 of them, they of course, as you probably know, have HQ-9 long-range missiles, HQ-10 short-range missiles, and Seawares and all the other stuff that they have. They're very difficult to penetrate. Next, we have the HQ-22s. These were a real interesting thing to set up. In total, there are 4 batteries today with 80 missiles. Here, battery here, battery here, battery here, battery here. First of all, I tried spreading them out around the various lands around Shanghai, but I got mixed to bad results. I also tried having batteries on these kind of entries here to the harbour, thinking that would be a great idea, and I still think it's a great idea, but there were massive technical problems and I just couldn't do that. Hence, I've had to move them back into a configuration which does work. Now, all of these HQ batteries are linked in an IADS. What I found is with them not linked, they would fire on each other's targets and be very inefficient. So I've linked them all together as an IADS and got much more efficient fire. Out of interest, I've put a couple of radars, part of the same IADS, out here on this peak here, to act as an early warning radar, as well as that each battery has its own sensors. After, as I said, many hours of trying, that's the absolute best configuration I can get for what I care about, which is defense of the Fujian. Next is going to be the air wings, northern and southern air wings. Southern air wings are 2 squadrons of J-20. Obviously, I've no idea where these aircraft are based in relation to the real Shanghai, so I've just kind of made it up. Squadron there. Each squadron are going to be 16, and they're going to have their usual loadout of 4 long-range missiles, PL-15, range 120 miles. Not that that matters today, because they're going to be shooting against stealth, probably, and 2 close-range PL-10s. In the north, they're going to have 2 squadrons of J-15s playing J-16s. They're pretty much identical as far as DCS is concerned. Each has 6 PL-15 long-range missiles and 2 PL-10 short-range missiles, 4th gen and 5th gen, and that's China today. In terms of America, as I said, they're starting 300 miles away from the coast or thereabouts. They're going to have 1 CV, they're going to have 1 LHD, and they're going to have 6 escorts today. And a lot is going to be happening here. Why don't we start with the escorts? As well as their surface-to-air missiles, they also each have 24 Tomahawk 5s. They're going to be launching those. So that's 6 times 24. I can't do that in my head. 150 or something. Tomahawks are going to be launched against Fujian. In terms of her air wings, why don't we start on the USS America? We have 20, a full complement of 20 F-35Bs. Today, unfortunately, played by F-35A. F-35B, again, has stopped working. It doesn't matter. F-35A is actually modelled exactly the same as B in DCS. We've got a B, max B loadout in stealth configuration of 3 AIM-260s and 1 AIM-9X for lack of peregrines at this time. They are going to be fleet defence, and obviously they're going to be trying to subdue the J-20s and the J-16s. As well as that, the first squadron aboard Reagan is going to be F-35Cs, also in fleet defence. All skill levels set the same and usual, and I've not tinkered with them, viewers. I've just left them as default vanilla. They're going to be C maximum loadout with sidekick of 6 missiles, 4 AIM-260s and 2 AIM-9X. Then the anti-shippers, LRAMs, F-18s are going to have 4 LRAMs, self-defense weapons. Fuel tanks, there's going to be 12 of those. There's going to be AIM-174B, 4 AIM-174Bs, fuel tanks and self-defense. And then there's going to be the MAKO. We're going to finish up with the hypersonic anti-shipping weapon, 4 of those each, times 12 aircraft. And that's it, viewers. It looks relatively simple, but I can only stress how hard that was to set up. In terms of predictions, it's impossible to predict for all the usual reasons, viewers. There's so many different things that can happen each time I run it, and there's so many, to be honest, things that can go wrong here. So today, I'm actually just going to hold my judgment and try and enjoy the battle. Obviously, I'm going to support America, but I can assure you I've been fair to both sides. That's it. Let's go and battle. 3, 2, 1, go. Right, viewers, let's have a look around at some US assets. First of all, we have our USS America analog today. Aboard her are her F-35Bs, played by F-35As. Don't worry, it will make literally no difference at all. Also the CVs with her F-35Cs, which are actually modelled different to the A and the B model. Off they go. Scoreboard is on today. I've had to use the small scoreboard because it's going to be very busy, viewers, but I will call it out so you know what's going on. We've got the Arleigh 3s. So in this case, we can imagine that they've cobbled together the absolute best of the ships here, viewers. Oh, wow, China's already scrambled its jets and it's off, but let's have a look at some sensors here at the picket sensor. I was very naughty. I'm not allowed to work on the weekends at all these days, viewers, because obviously I've got a kid to look after, but I actually snuck out on Saturday night and spent several hours while the wife was in bed trying to get this absolute mess working of HQ sensors, but I finally did it. I hope it works. The big batteries here along the coast. Let's have a look at the shore rad. Shore rad here, just in case things get within 10 miles. And they probably won't, because Type 055, and you all know how good this is in DCS and very possibly real life as well. We've got our Fujian there. We don't have her in DCS, and it doesn't really matter that we don't have her. AWACS up there, and our jets, J-20. China's first attempt at a stealth jet, and in DCS, as we have it modelled, it's actually pretty good. As I said, it can be shot at about 27, 28 miles. Kinematically, it's very good, possibly too good. It may need tuning down, viewers. These things always take a long time and lots of messing around to get right. We also have the J16, played by J15, pretty much the same for what we care about in terms of their capability in DCS. So the Chinese have seen the obvious incursion, and now they're scrambling. In terms of SAM ranges, viewers, the HQ-22s have a range of about 100 miles, and I put that range ring there. The jets are a bit more intelligent than they used to be, the way I've set them up, so they won't just charge towards each other now and run out of fuel. They will limit their afterburner use and fly conservatively until they're within a kind of envelope and then start attacking. And again, it takes a lot of setting up, and that's what we do now. Otherwise, they just run out of fuel at these ranges. F-35s, and finally our F-35B for today. Right, there's going to be several minutes of nothing now, viewers, because as I said, they're all trying to get to the battle but saving fuel, because if I just told them to put their afterburner on, they wouldn't even make the fight. Alright, so I'm going to speed it up, and then I will come back to you. Welcome back. First things have happened. J-20s have decided it's now time to turn their afterburners on, and they're going very fast. Ground speed, wow, 1200 knots, nearly Mach 2, which they are apparently capable of. They are regressing on the F-35s of some nature. I'm surprised they haven't gone for the AWACS, actually, which is incredibly visible and vulnerable. I always, as per real life, have to be real careful where I put AWACS in these things. Views. I want them far forward because I want them to their ranges to work. I need to only see kind of 300 nautical miles, so I need to get them close. But I also need to keep them out of battle area. Out of vulnerability area. So it's a very difficult mix of where to put these things and not to try and get it wrong. Generally, being conservative works slightly better. J-15's doing J-15 things. I'm just going to call them J-15s today. Still no aggression from F-35. Who is this? That's a B, isn't it? He's not going to worry too much because J-20 can only see, or fire at, should I say, F-35A or B at about 18 miles. They can see them much earlier, but to get a solution of fire, not so much. F-35Cs down here absolutely have decided it's now time for combat, and in they go. Afterburners on, max speed, Mach 1.6. And that's a lovely moon, viewers. What's going to have the advantage? The F-35 or the J-20? The F-35 will. Although it's maybe not kinematically as powerful, what it is much more stealthy. And so they're going to shoot 10 miles earlier. Now oh, there we go. Look, that makes a massive difference. They've shot at 30 miles, absolute maximum in perfect parameters. Two-piece AIM-174's out. What will be the replacement for the AMRAAM, theoretically, before 2027. It's lofted high, and down it goes. Very fast missile, Mach 3 at the moment. You can see the speed at the bottom in knots, true speed. Replies from PL-15s as the J-20s get into wares, one down. This guy being chased, but as I said, J-20s are very kinematically powerful, at least in the sim. And we're going to lose an F-35, unfortunately. Sorry, sir. Two J-20s down, one F-35 down. But lots of JTAMs coming in. This one has overdone it at 70,000 feet. It's got a bad track, and it's failed. That's an its problem. Lots of them have missed, actually, for whatever reason. Maybe the thing they were actually fired at is already down. Again, beaten it kinematically, or has he? He has beaten it. Well done. Fair enough, viewers. He worked for it. Lots of wasted missiles there. It's a shame to see, but it is what it is. Still 2 down, 3 down now. Still only one PL-15 fired. These J-20s have simply spent all of their time dodging missiles. Finally, he gets caught out by a missile. I'll dodge that one. 4 J-20s down to 1 F-35 down. That's a bloody good start by Blue. I probably would expect it not to be that good as we move forward. Lots of wasted AIM-174s there. I don't know what that was. I suspect they were fired at hostiles just before they were taken out, and the missile is just not that smart in DCS. It will go dumb at that point and go to the moon, basically. Cost to Reds so far, $500 million. Cost to Blues of $0.15 billion. Missile dropping out of orbit, 100,000 feet and descending. A new salvo of missiles fired, 42,000 feet. Parameters look good. fired at their maximum range of, again, 27 to 30 miles, depending on parameters. Is it going to overshoot? Is it going to overshoot? It can overshoot. No, it's not going to overshoot. All right, J-20's having to go defensive. Again, they get some return fire, but it's very, you know, last-minute fire. It's not optimal, and that means the F-35 gets a better chance of defeating it. Cool, well evaded, sir. Fair play. Now, is he going to catch a F-35 unawares? These PL-15s have always worked so well against stealth viewers. I don't know why it is. Wow, loads of missed AIM-260s. That's a real shame to see. It's a miss. I don't know what he fired at. J-20 down there. Come on, fire better, fire gooder. Less bad, please. It always looks so easy from God view, but you know what it's like when you put yourself in there as a human. It's just chaos. And I think the AI is simulating that chaos. 2 F-35s down, 5 J-20s down. AIM-260s chasing this rear rank back. Again, so kinematically powerful, these jets. As we have the model. Very difficult to defeat. J-16s, they're coming. They're just going slow for some reason. Probably fuel. You remember I set parameters up so that they save fuel, enough fuel for the battle. Because I'm fed up of seeing them charge into battle, run out of fuel after the first missile, and then go home. So now I have parameters to say, use this amount of fuel to get into battle and then fight. So it's, for whatever reason, these guys are going to take... Oh no, I take that back. They are actually going max speed, Mark 1.8. So there you go. The 4th gen, so they can't achieve Mark 2, obviously, with their missiles on. Right, it's just turned into a giant Charlie Foxtrot here, and the F-35 has done very disappointingly here, viewers. I've seen lots of very bad AIM-260 shots. Don't know why. That said, the scores are very good. 8 J-20s down to only 3 F-35, so the numbers are good. Wow, look at that. Maybe I've just been watching the bad missiles. That's another F-35 down. Again, PL-15 is so good against these. It really gets my goat. 9 down to 4. This is more about the kill ratio I'd expect for China versus America in reality. 4 versus 10. Another F-35 about to go down. Maybe not. Well defended. 50 minutes in, and look at the scoreboard. Things are happening. A lot's happening. Look at this. The ships are now firing their Tomahawks. Each has 24 Mark V Tomahawks for anti-shipping use. That's going to be a total of whatever that is, 150 odd missiles. It's going to, and you can start to see now why I couldn't include the US Air Force at this point. We are going to absolutely max this server out, viewers. AIM-260 performing badly today, as it does sometimes, viewers. Sometimes it's immortal and amazing, so he's had to go to the AIM-9X. A lot of you ask why I don't use Peregrine instead of AIM-9X in 2027. I'll be honest, I wanted to leave something extra for the 2030 battles, and that was going to be Peregrine. So it's all more about roleplay, to be honest. I want something extra to show in 2030. Did he? Oh, come on, dodge it. Yes! Stealth, baby! Right, big thing going on here. J-15's been kept at bay by long-range sniping AIM-260, and then these guys are coming down to the south here to defend, and I'm kind of happy with that because I don't want to see the J-20s overwhelming. 12 J-20 shot down, 1 J-15 shot down, 5 F-35 shot down. That's a really good score, that is, viewers, actually. I know I was complaining about this missile not working very well today, but that's a brilliant score. I'm actually quite surprised we've done so well. Usually it's kind of more like 2 to 1 at best from America. I can run this many times, viewers, and I'll get out 100% different result every time. So, you know, don't blame me too much. Another F-35 down. He turned his non-stealthy side to the missile, and that's always a problem. That guy, not so much. 13 to 6. This guy, unfortunately, only carries 3 AIM-260s, and therefore he is all out missiles. In real life, the B doesn't even have a gun, but it does have a gun pod, so I'll imagine he does have his gun pod on use. AIM-260 over his head, sorry, PL-15 over his head. Still 13 to 6. A big Royal Rumble happening now. This happens when you get 5th gen versus 5th gen. The maximum firing range is less than 30 miles, so it's inevitable. Jesus Christ, they're fast. That this kind of thing is going to happen. 15 Chinese down to 7 Americans down. We're back to 2 to 1 kill ratio. Smashing more AIM-260s. This is a joy to watch, viewers. Evaded. Brilliant merge in the middle. And I see Super Hornets, and I won't miss them, viewers. I'll get them. Now, we've now got merges between J-15 and F-35, as well as a battle going on here, but this is really where it's at the moment. We've got dogfights happening now, as is, I guess, inevitable eventually. He's firing all of the chaff. Again, as you can see, it's a little bit kinematically too powerful. There's no way he'd be able to... Well, I don't know, actually. He's basically stalled, isn't he? I don't really know, viewers. F-35s have forgotten about him. No, he's being shot at. If he evades like that, it means he's being shot at. He needs to turn his stealthy bits towards the missile. Wow, 20 Chinese guys down to 8 Americans down. I may pause it in a minute just to have a look at the stats because it's going a bit faster than I can keep up with, to be honest. 3 more flights coming there. Still half a flight there. F-35 has done really well. Really, really well. I'm super pleased, viewers. I'm always worried that they're going to get really beaten, and sometimes they do badly, but today they've done brilliantly. 23 Chinese down to 9 Americans down. That's possibly the best we've had so far. And it's not me, viewers. I haven't tinkered with anything in the background. It's exactly the same stuff as it always was. They've just flown better for reasons. They've had better eggs for their breakfast. Good evasion. 24 to 9. Really well done, guys. These J-15s, look at that. They're being pegged now by SM. Now, here's your problem with 4th gen coming near any carrier group, Chinese, American, whatever. These SM-6s, as you know, they'll go for nearly 200 miles. And those J-16s are very visible to the radars, and they're just being pegged by these missiles. In fact, I think we'll have a pause, viewers. I can do that on single player. Take stock. 25 Chinese jets down. That's 20 J-20 and 5 J-16, 15, whatever. They fired 25 PL-15s and 1 PL-10. A cost to them of $2.8 billion with a Bravo dollars. That's a lot. America have lost an incredibly impressive today. 9 J-35s, 2 Cs and 6 Bs. Why B? Probably because they're not carrying as many missiles as the Cs. Otherwise, they're modelled very similar. Blue weapons, 63 AIM-174B fired, 7 AIM-9X fired, 35 anti-ship missiles fired. That will be these guys, the Tomahawks, which are cruising very low and dangerously towards the hostiles. 20 SAMs have been fired at a cost of $1.5 billion. Unpause. We're going to have a quick look now at the F-18s that are on their way out. These guys are carrying LRAM. I've just told them to attack that ship, basically. They'll get to what they consider the optimal parameters for firing that missile in terms of altitude, range, speed and whatnot. Another flight there. There are 4 flights, 12 in total, and then the AIM-174s will be coming out. Look at those missiles being fired. Those are a mixture of the Tomahawk and SM-6, which we're using in an air launch variant today under the name of AIM-174, viewers. Right, here we go. New combat. At this point, I'll apologise about my voice, viewers. I'm struggling a lot with my voice. I'm doing my best and seeking as best medical stuff as I can, but it's not much fun. PL-15s being fired from J-20s. Lots of PL-15s being fired. Errors from F-35s. Why? It's probably because they've used all their missiles up, viewers, and they're just charging towards the hostiles at this point. It's what I would prefer. I would prefer it if they die rather than RTV because it helps free the server up. And we will need the server freed up, viewers, in terms of processing. I need that to happen. Something you don't have to worry about in real life, clearing up aeroplanes so it doesn't crash, but yeah, so that's why I have to do it. Defeaten! Servers handling it beautifully so far. 31 Chinese aircraft down to 13 American aircraft down. An excellent exchange rate, viewers. And to be honest, if this was fought in real life, without proper tactics. So these are AI. They don't use proper tactics, as you know. So if you took the American tactics and the Chinese tactics out of it, I wouldn't be surprised if it was pure tech. This is what you would get, a kind of 2-to-1 kill ratio. Now, if you put excellent stealth tactics into that, you could optimize that massively, probably towards the Americans, as they have the slight technical edge. But that's something we can never model, viewers, and I can't really bring my humans into these large battles anymore, unfortunately. So we have to suck up what we've got. Another big exchange. 45 anti-ship missiles fired so far, and more AIM-260s raining down on J-20s. 35 Chinese aircraft down to 13 American aircraft down. Again, a brilliant exchange. That's nearly 3-to-1. That's literally the best I've ever seen. I'm super chuffed about that. There's something about the way that I set it up, or the vectors they came in, or I don't know, where the bloody sun is. Something that's just making the Blues do better today. And that works for me because I spent loads of time setting the anti-ship up. And the last thing I wanted is the J-20s to win and have all my anti-shippers shot down. So I'm super chuffed about that. The J-15s, I didn't even think about this, but they're all being subdued. So when I test these, I test everything in isolation, viewers. I didn't realise this was going to happen. All the J-15s are being subdued by the SM-6s. But that's kind of what would happen, right? I think, because even if they went low, they would still be spotted by the E2s, who would still guide these missiles in. There's not really a great deal 4th gen could do. Not a problem for J-20s, obviously. They won't be spotted by the ships until, I don't know, 50 miles or whatever. Chewing their way through these, which is good. It means I can concentrate on the anti-shipping soon. 53 anti-ship missiles in the air. J-20 is very slick, high speed. Coming into play there. He's probably at his top speed now. Well defeated. Again, he might not be able to do that in real life. It's very probable that he might not be able to do that. To be honest, they seem to need all the help they can get at the moment. They're really getting a bloody nose. SM-6s raining in. Let's go and have a look at LRASM now. Cost to China, 4.1 billion. Cost to America, 2.2 billion. No LRASM out yet, viewers. They just have considered them not yet in optimal firing parameters. I can't really tell them where to fire. I sort of can, but I sort of can't. Yes, J-20s beautifully defeated. Well done, F-35s. 40 to 13. That's a more than a 3-to-1 kill ratio. It was down to less than 2-to-1 at one point, but they're just smashing them now. Another one down. That was an F-35 that went down. Another F-35 is spamming these PL-15s out. It's been defeated. Remember, the F-35s are set up with much better radar cross-section, as we predict will be true in real life, viewers. In 2027, China will have a much stealthier, better plane known as the J-35, J-31, whatever you want to call it, but it's almost certainly the ones that are going to be available to begin with will be for naval operations, and I was not told to use their naval air wing, so I haven't. And that would have been a lot harder for the Americans, to be honest. Well, it's been a thrashing by America here, not as I planned it, mainly because the J-15s were just completely subdued by the SAMs. If they were humans, they would have worked their way around here and fought with the J-20s, but, you know, there's only so much I can do at the end of the day. The J-20s did as best they could, but, you know, fighting a jet that's got better missiles, AIM-260 versus... Oh, and before you say if, why don't you give them the PL-17? We do have the PL-17, viewers, but it's got the same problem as the AIM-174. I need a different radar set to drive it, so I can't use it with stealth. It's just a restriction I have. Yeah, so a solid thrashing, so be it. We are in 26 minutes into the sim. Maybe I should have given China some more fighters, you say, or given them all J-20s, and maybe you're right, viewers, but until I really run it properly like this, I don't really know how it's going to go. 64 seemed about right when I was, you know, designing the mission. And it kind of adds a little bit of excitement for me as well. I don't really know how it's going to go. And this is why I had to have these F-35s as air-to-air viewers. I couldn't have them as MAKO carriers because every single one, apart from that guy there probably, has been used in air-to-air. If I'd sacrificed half of them, that's it. We would have lost the air war. So we're stuck with F-35s doing air-to-air at the moment. Super Hornets, good as they are not good enough to take on J-20s. I can assure you that they would be 100% smashed to pieces because they can be shot at, what, 70 miles or something? Whereas they can only shoot at the J-2. Oh, LRASM's out! Better stop yapping, viewers. And go straight into an Immelman. Kind of. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, viewers, we have LRASM. Now, because distances are so big today, I'm afraid to say that this is just going to take literally forever. It's 28 minutes into the sim. We've got our LRASMs mixed in with our MSTs here. They're supersonic at the moment, but they will not be supersonic when they're down on the ground. They'll be 500 knots, so things just take a long time. Now, imagine if I'd put the carrier back here next to Japan, it would take over an hour for a LRASM to get to China. Yeah, these are the kind of problems I face when I have these big war games that I do, viewers. J-15s have been completely ineffective today. They're brilliant planes. You know they are. They can even shoot down stealth jets. You've seen it many times before, but they've been strung by their vicinity to the Arleigh Burkes, and there's not really much I can do about that. That's just how it is. SM-6, at least on paper, can do this. Remember, it doesn't need to guide itself, it gets guided via the AWACS. And the ones that have beaten SM-6s are just going to get smashed by AIM-260s now. So be it. 90 anti-shipping missiles out. A massive swarm of anti-ship. Let's see if the AIM-174 is around, viewers. Where are we? These guys are LRAM. These guys are LRAM. These guys are AIM-174. Today's first look at AIM-174. Again, viewers, I can't use it in air-to-air with stealth jets in the war game. That's a limitation we have, and I've got no obvious solution for it. So we're going to use it as this next party piece. Air-to-ground. It can also be used for anti-ship. It can also be used for anti-radiation work, and I'll have to look at a version for that soon. Today we're going to fire them at about 200, I don't know, 20 miles, something like that. More taking it off here, burning up to speed. Look, there's an MST down there, or there was somewhere. There are now 96 anti-ship missiles in the air and coming towards China. And now you can start seeing why I had to spend so much time getting the air defense to work properly against them. How are you going to stop 98 now? 98 anti-ship missiles. Some subsonic, some supersonic, some hypersonic, and I've programmed those as best I can do to get them all to arrive on target at the same time. Now that's not going to be great, as you can see. They're spread over, 100 miles, but what you're going to find is the LRAM start catching up the MSTs, the 174 catches up the LRAM, and the MAKO catches up the 174. So it's the best I can do, within realistic amount of hours. The last of the J-16s getting wiped out now by the stealths at long range and SM-6. There's not much they can do. These guys seem unaffected, so they're going in for it. They can do that if they want. They could ignore that SM-6 and just go straight for it. 54 red aircraft shot down. The 15 blue aircraft shot down. My American viewers will be very, very happy with that. And as I say, it rarely works out that good. As I'm sure you're aware by now, 106 anti-ship missiles in the air. 42 SM-6s in the air. 122 AIM-260 fired, 9 AIM-9X fired, nearly 40 PL-15s were fired, so kudos for China for finding the solution to fire that many PL-15s. And they're still pretty good, really, against an F-35. Not much these J-16s can do against AIM-260 viewers. They don't have stealth on their side. They don't have anything on their side. As I say, as it goes down and misses. Don't know. Didn't even notch it. Some kind of reason, viewers. There's a chance we're now just overworking the server at this point, to be honest, viewers. You've seen how many anti-ship missiles we've got in the air. It can only handle so much, and once it's handled so much, stuff has to start giving away. Main reason why I couldn't have the Air Force in today. Boom! That one certainly went fine, and this one's tracking. 55, almost the total of 64 aircraft shot down. Now, China have much more aircraft than this, viewers. They have, what, nearly 500 aircraft in their Eastern Theatre. But what would be ready to, the Americans had time to plan this, and they planned everything. What would China have ready in, the half an hour to get going? I don't think they would have the 500. And most of those 500 are actually old jets as well that wouldn't have much consequence on today. Anti-ship missiles are now within the 100-mile range ring. They won't be shot at yet. They will be shot at what the H-222 considers an optimal firing range, and that will be much closer. Interesting position now, where the F-35s have run themselves out of fuel so much they can't even make it back to their own carrier, so they're going to land in China. Probably wouldn't happen in real life, viewers, but again, AI don't know geopolitics, viewers. They don't know that the Chinese are a little bit angry with America at the moment in this war game, so they will just go and land there. AI is all friends at the end of the day, so you'll have to factor that out of your mind, viewers. Or you can leave it in your mind, it's up to you. Look at this guy go frigging crazy either. He's trying to dodge the undodgeable. You just can't really beat an SM-6. SM-6, it's the same missile, viewers, as the AIM-174. 100,000 feet. Mark III. You can't really, what are you going to do to beat it? F-35 setting in now. They don't have any ammo, so all they're going to have to use is their gun, their imaginary gun. As I said, the B does have a stealth gun pod that can be added, so you'll just have to imagine that's been added. Yeah, it appears I was wrong. Boom! Look at that. He's fired PL-15s at stealths. Fair play. I'd even be happy for him to get kills. Right, you know what? I'm probably missing all the action. I've got to get back into air-to-ground mode now. So, 144 anti-ship missiles out. And you can see my time on target attempt happening now. This, theoretically, should reach the harbour at the same time that these LRAMs reach the harbour. Which, theoretically, should be the same time that these 174s reach the harbour. Which probably won't be the same time as the MAKOs reach the harbour, because they haven't even taken off yet. In fact, let me double check. Yeah, last 174s are up. Let's see who these guys are on the carrier. MAKO's hypersonics are here. We are 35 minutes into the sim, and it seems like 2 minutes to me. It's been very action-packed, viewers. 50 miles away from the harbour now, and I'm waiting for my first AIM-174 shots to happen. They got their... You'll probably know when they've got their afterburner on, that's probably when they're going to fire. They'll want to fire at above 30,000 feet. A missile like this has to... There it is, as I speak. A missile like this has to be fired supersonic at over 30,000 feet. Transonic. Look at it go. First thing it will do is get as much altitude as it can. It's the best way of conserving its overall energy envelope. It'll go as high as it dares. I don't know how high the real ones go, but our ones are probably going to go to near 300,000 feet. I'll say that again. 300,000 feet, viewers. It just lobs it in a giant... Oh, that's tens of miles high. I don't know how high that is. Very high. 110, 120,000 feet. And that's the only way I can get it to achieve these massive ranges. Oh, look at that. LRAMs are out, still being fired. Don't know why that was. 200,000 feet. Wow, they're really going for it. This first batch are going the furthest, so they will also have to go the highest. 230,000 feet. We're going to enter space soon. Space starts at 300,000 feet, I believe. 240,000 feet, 250,000 feet. These might loft too high. The real ones probably won't go this high, viewers. They probably don't need to go this high. It's just something I have to do. I mean, look at that time on target. In they come, in they come, in they come. You would not want to be on the receiving end of that, I assure you, viewers. Tomahawks. There's still one Chinese fighter out there somewhere. There he is. He's got himself in a dogfight. But he's not going to last much longer. He's got 3 SM-6s of the older variant. Well, not the older variant, but... Oh, yes, the older variant. It's Mark 2.5. And there is no evading that. By 64 fighters down at a cost of 16. It really is impressive. Can't stress how impressive that is. Alright, these guys, 312,000 feet. We're in space. They're in space now, viewers. Probably couldn't do that because they would probably just skip off the atmosphere at this point and go off to the moon. But they're coming down 311,000 feet. That's the highest we've seen so far, viewers. Oh, another first today. America are just performing. Cost to China, $6 billion. Cost to America, $3.2 billion. The air war has been won. The corridor has been opened. Now we've got to get the missiles in. The best way we can do that is get as many missiles on target at the same time as possible, and within realistic constraints is the best we can do. We've got LRAM mixed in with MST, and 300,000 feet above them we have SM-6s. Now that is a lot for Chinese sensor array to deal with. Look at that. Look at the cloud base. That cloud base is at 40,000 feet, or you know what I mean. And we're at 250,000 feet. That is so impressive. Waiting for the Chinese defense. The picket sensor it's scanning, whatever. Sweet, it's not working. No, that's only the search radar. Okay, the track radar's working. I don't know why the search radar isn't operating. I'm sure it will, viewers. Let me just check these guys. Too late. Missiles are being fired. Yeah, I don't know why the 22s haven't worked. Don't worry, they will do. It'll be a temporary bug, I can assure you. HQ-9Bs by... The ships being fired at these guys here, which are raining down now. Vertically down. Vertically down. Very hard to deal with that. At a huge speed of 3,300 knots. They've got everything in their favour now. They're basically spaceships dropping back into atmosphere. One's going to get through. Look how hard that is to defend! It has actually got through! I literally wasn't... Wow! Did not see that coming. Did not see that coming. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they did it, viewers. Anyway, the carrier's not dead. We'll carry on with that. I have tested these bits in isolation, and I can assure you that never happened. Each time SM-6s were taken out. I wonder if it's because we've got so much happened on the server. So many processes happened. It's just slowed everything down. I really don't know, but we'll see. Anyway, the carrier's not destroyed. Let's check the HQs, see if they're up and running yet. Yes, they are up and running now. LRAMs and MSTs have now entered Shanghai Harbour, or our version of it. If you're saying, oh, why didn't you put missiles here to shoot them to begin with? I actually did. I spent a lot of time trying to get that work, and whatever I did, the intercepts couldn't be made. It was very weird. And that was it. So I've given them this optimum parameter here. Right, so we are 42. Wow, 42 minutes into the simulation. We've got 156 anti-ship missiles fired. We've got more SM-6s raining their way down, viewers. I'm awfully worried that these ones are going to finish the carrier off, which would be a little bit disappointing. If that does happen, maybe we'll just run the anti-shipping bit afterwards, because I wanted to see if we had to go to MAKO's or not. 280,000 feet. Again, I stress that this didn't happen in the isolated test version I did, so bit strange, bit odd, but there you go. Have we got any MAKO's airborne? Yeah, MAKO's airborne are getting close to their firing parameters, so it's all going to kick off at this point. Are you actually going to fire? Are you going to do anything? It's the RASMs, that's why. The RASMs can only be seen 10 miles away. MSTs should have been seen by now, though. Are they going to fire? Have we killed the server? Is that what's happened? I think we've killed the server. That is incredibly disappointing for the amount of hours I put into getting this working, viewers. Beggars belief how many hours this took to get me working. And again, it shut down. Just so frustrating for me. They're not going to fire. That's why they got through. HQs aren't going to work today. Oh, man. We'll have to rerun it afterwards, viewers. We'll have to strip it all out and rerun just the attack. Unfortunately, the sim has its limits, and we've pushed it over its limit today. At this point, the HQs have now just shut down. They're not going to fire. Very disappointing for everyone. And there's no way that the ships are going to be able to take this out on their own. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop at this point, viewers, because it's not a fair test. Most of the SAMs aren't working. It's a DCS thing. It's frustrating. It's annoying, but it is what it is. I think, bearing in mind that the air war's been won, I think I'll now play it again, strip all of the air-to-air aircraft out, and just run the attack, which otherwise would have been the same. No anti-shippers were shot down, so... Welcome back, viewers. Sorry for stopping like that. What seems to have happened is the big aerial battle that we did with all the missiles flying and stuff like that is that they somehow corrupted the defences of the Chinese. The HQ-22s and the destroyers as well just weren't firing properly, so I obviously gave up. What I've done since is I've checked everything set up correctly, and it is. So all I've done is removed all of the air-to-air assets. They've all gone now. Otherwise, I've left everything the same, and I've run it through to the 37-minute mark again, and I'm expecting everything to work. There's no reason why it shouldn't work. SM-6, the first salvo has just been fired. 312,000 feet. Mark 4, Mark 5, same as last time. What we should see this time is the destroyers using all of their missiles or all of their firing channels properly. The HQ-22s were just working, and the HQ-17s just working, because they just didn't work last time. I don't know why. We've got the missiles out, and are they firing all channels? It looks like it. HQ-9's out. As I said, this was a real wrestling match trying to get this one working, viewers. Just lots of problems. The more tech we add, the more difficult it gets to get it working. Some of them have overshot. Come on, let's see some intercepts. 22 missiles out. Possible interceptions. Yes, definite interceptions. Come on, let's see some HQ-22s out. I desperately want to see some HQ-22s out to prove it's working. Or some 17s. Well, no missiles got through this time, it doesn't look like. So, I think, one way or another, the defence is working properly. And yes, 2 HQ-17s just fired. So I think all firing channels are open. Everything's working again. First subsonic missiles are entering the harbour. The next salvo of SM-6s are on their way. The RASMs pretty much caught the Tomahawks up. Yes, we have HQ-22s operating, viewers. That's more like it. 12 HQ-22s out. Yep, that's definitely what it was, viewers. It was just the big fight. It upset the SAMs for some reason. And like I said, we have to abuse the sim to get these big futuristic things working. So it is what it is. Let's just suck it up. We're quite lucky the way it turned out, really. Interception. Tomahawks. HQ-9's going out probably for the SM-6. HQ-22's going out for the Tomahawks, and no one can see the LRASMs yet, which are stealth missiles, can only be seen at about 12 miles. Right, next set of SM-6s being dealt with. Ooh, HQ-10. What we're supposed to see at this point is the 22s just smashing the harbour and taking all the Tomahawks out. Instead, the only one that's firing now are the ships. Boom. No, I take it back. More 22s coming out. Yay! It is working. 93 SAMs fired. 162 anti-ship missiles fired. It's getting too... Oh, you see it's all starting to get a bit jerky now. 102 SAMs fired. 162 anti-ship missiles fired. 48 air-to-ground missiles fired. Just waiting for the next salvo of SM-6s coming in now. But I don't want to miss this. LRASMs can only be seen at 12 miles. They won't be able to be shot at by the HQ-12s, only by the HQ-9s and HQ-10s, I imagine. Oh. Could we have an early infiltration? 119 SAMs fired. Everything working fine. Right, next salvo of SM-6 is coming in. 143 SAMs fired. Next batch of LRASMs. Strangely, oh look, they're shooting. No, they're shooting over the LRASMs to take the SM-6 down. What's the 22 firing at? Probably a Tomahawk. Tomahawk taken out. Question is, when would the MAKOs be fired? Let's see. How far did MAKO get? MAKO. Wow, yes, that's MAKO about to be fired. When are we? We're 46 minutes in. 150 SAMs fired. Next bunch of LRASMs in. Within visual range or within detectable range. HQ taking out Tomahawk. Smash! Where's that MAKO? I want that MAKO. MAKO. Still not fired. And another batch. SM-6s dropping from 270 plus thousand feet. 175 SAMs fired. HQ-10s fired, 144 HQ-9s fired, 33 HQ-22s fired, and only 2 HQ-17s fired. This is the battle I wanted. Right, still SM-6s driving their way down. MAKO still not within parameters. 207 SAMs fired. Next batch of LRASMs in. Oh, at the same time as SM-6. Could that be enough? I think they're out of HQ-9s. They're out of HQ-9s. And the HQ-22s just aren't capable. I think we've got through without MAKO. Just gonna watch from here. SM-6 is thundering overhead. Sea-Wiz being fired. HQ-17's being fired. SM-6 haven't got through. What the hell's happened? SM-6 didn't get through. Alright, I'm just going to stay here, viewers, because I need to actually see what's happening here. They are getting taken out. No, there's still SHORAD defense. Alright, we're back in the game, viewers. Now, annoyingly, that was... Sorry, I'm out of drink. My voice has just gone super dry. But that was the last of the SM-6s. Now, please tell me we've got MAKOs coming in. We need your missiles. 170 anti-ship missiles fired, 48 air-to-ground missiles fired. Oh! HQ-22s, 45 HQ-22s done. Fired. They've done... Oh, look at that one. Didn't even make it to the friggin' target. They've done pretty dismally, to be honest. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I'll take that back. That's probably not true. 256 SAMs fired, 171 anti-ship missiles fired, a bunch more anti-air-to-ground missiles fired, which means, yes, MAKO's fired. Thank God. I was so worried they weren't going to fire. Right. We've now got hypersonics in the air. And a big fat moon. They've still got plenty more SAMs left is the problem. Loads of SHORAD, and these Tomahawks just aren't very effective against these big destroyers. 49 HQ-22s fired. SHORAD barely tested. And this missile's going the wrong way. Go that way. Go that way. Huh. Locked onto the wrong ship. So be it. Is that ship out of ammo? Yes, it is. No, it's not. We've just worn them down. We've drained so many of their defences now. Have they got anything left? The HQ-22s are refusing to fire again. 51 being fired. I think they had more. Yes, they're fine. They're just very rubbish, look. They should be smashing HQ-22s out. And whatever happened to the hypersonics? Where are they? Here they come. Oh, lots of hypersonics coming in. 80,000 feet, 1,000,000 knots. Mark 8. Very hard to stop, especially if you haven't got any defense left, which these guys haven't. That's it, it's going to get through. But annoyingly, they're targeting the wrong ship. I can't help. No, these ones have got through. That's it, they're out of ammo. Yes, boom! Got there in the end. Oh, we didn't even get a chance to test out the hypersonics. That's a shame. Well, there was me worried that this was going to be too easy if we put the US Air Force in, but it was relatively easy just for the Navy. The modern weapons are just so good. Boom. Alright viewers, let's try and digest what happened today. 64 Chinese aircraft, 4th and 5th gen, plus a very large SAM site, of which fired 62 of its missiles, plus 2 destroyers, of which fired about 208 missiles. Tried to defend the Fujian carrier against the US 7th carrier fleet. Interestingly, the same US 7th carrier fleet as last time, but this time with modern weapons, extremely modern weapons, 2027 weapons. And this time it absolutely chewed those defences to pieces. They really struggled. And we might as well revel and watch the end of it, I suppose. More missiles coming in. I mean, let me know, do you want me to run it again, viewers? If so, what defense do you want me to try and use? I could try putting more destroyers in, but at this point, I guess it really just becomes a game of attrition. Who's got the most missiles to fire? China fired 281 missiles in the end. America fired 191 anti-ship missiles and 72 air-to-ground missiles. And I guess that's it, viewers. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you later.